It's August 5th, 2025. During the case in 22, I was working on the other side of Maslin. My client's next door neighbor, he'd want to go visit, and I'd sit and talk with the neighbors. She said, I used to do home health care for the local mafia. You'd be surprised what comes out of their mouth. Okay? And she said, they would admit to crimes in front of you and just laugh. Okay? She said, and how they would run scams, even on law enforcement, and get away with it all the time. Okay? She said they were laughing one time that one of their guys had got arrested. I was in a local jail. Had one of their guys dress up in a suit. He had fake attorney credentials. Had printed off a fake court order to release him. Had one of their guys dress up in a police uniform. Went in, and that officer released one of their guys with a fake court order. And we're laughing how they got one of their guys out of jail. Sound a little familiar? Where they keep saying some attorney's office did this. I talked to a real criminal attorney, a real one. They can't do any of this. And then you look it up on Google, they'll go to jail for it. How much you want to bet that attorney's office? I wouldn't put it past. It's not real. Where the retired Judge Pete, friends with Judge Ludick, letting him get away with crimes, look like a deranged Santa Claus? Showed up at Faith Family Church in 19. And he told 3,000 people in front of the sheriffs and FBI. It came out, it was just some guy saying he was retired Judge Pete, friends with Ludick from the Ravenna courthouse. Was it real? Huh? Just like the fake FBI agents that tortured me, and the fake Portage County sheriffs helping them get away with crimes. Sound a little familiar? Or even better, the doctor from before, not one of mine, but works for them, and they lied. Supposed to stole my medical records, then it came out they stole somebody else's and put my name on it. Works for them. There's HIPAA violations. No doctor can look you up without your signed consent. It's 10 years federal. $250,000 fine. No doctor where they said they had a doctor evaluator that an office hired. They can't hire one to evaluate me. I didn't sign consent. I wasn't evaluated. I don't even know who that is. It's all fraud. Then there's HIPAA violations. Your medical records are your own. We all know that. Doctors can't talk about you. It's a 10-year sentence and $1 million fine. You can sue them. What's wrong with this? It's so illegal and so absurd. It's like Twilight Zone. See what I mean? Get the idea? And then no one drugs anybody but the drug cartel. Where the people that showed up at Faith Family Church, that they worked for Judge Peters, and they were from Florida. They had mind-controlling drugs. They could control anybody for 4 to 6 hours. Michelle was with them. The deranged Santa Claus was with them. People breaking, they were hurting me and hurting me before. Huh? Get an idea? Get an idea? Where Officer Mark said it's documented and verified she was framed before, and it was a drug cartel in her home before. Get the idea? want you to think about this. And think hard. Where in January 19, they said they had fake paperwork to make it look official. It's not true about her. Some guy wrote it up, didn't like her. Told him to get rid of it. Talked about it in front of the police and the FBI. How much you want to bet that's the fake medical records? That aren't mine. They think they stole someone else's? I bet they made them all. I bet the doctor's not real, too. I bet that attorney's office isn't real. Because I'll tell you what, sweetheart. And this is not a threat. This is a promise. And you need to realize what's going to happen to you. I find out you're a real attorney's office, I will have every news crew I can in your face of breaking in private homes, setting up button cameras, felony invasion of privacy, 4th Amendment, cyber stalking people, voyeurism, taking naked pictures of people without their permission, selling kitty porn, that you are breaking in, using drugs on people. It's illegal to even talk to anybody intoxicated. And that you are using hallucinating drugs on people, on victims without their consent or knowledge. You are lacing drinks and stabbing them with injections. You are having them beaten, raped under drugs and drugged up and told to say stuff. And you photoshopped where it came out on July 26, 25, one of the investigators from the case. He said, I forgot how big Karen was when the case first started. He said, I did a body ratio of the weird with yourself. Wasn't even her. They were talking about it in Kansas yesterday. That guy Will thinking he can pull a scam here like that. Telling people she was weird with herself. And they already verified it wasn't even her. It wasn't even her body. Photoshopping her face on that. And then when they already verified, they drugged her and told her to say it before. And he thinks he can have people down here yelling stuff at her. Oh, they were pissed. Oh, then I go over to Acme and there's all kinds of riffraff. On Whipple. Some ladies like, well, on a recorded line, that agent already admitted he talked to everybody and they knew the FBI was involved. They really couldn't say she couldn't say anything. Okay? Another guy is, what idiot said that they wanted to have a meeting with the king from Texas? It'd be a bloodbath. He'll kill them all. Any agent showed up around him, he'd kill him. We all know that. And when she did her video, it's like she was talking to Agent John as if he'd listened to her. Oh, honey, he does. So does Officer Mark and Officer John. And so does the FBI. So do the police departments. FBI informant. Where that idiot man said, we all know Agent John said he didn't care what happened to her. And he turned her back over to us. No, he didn't. Okay? And he said, they were all running their mouth in there. There were so many bad people around me in that store. It wasn't even funny. Last year I was at Marshall's and on the strip in Belden. And some ladies on the phone, they're still all around her watching her. I'm watching them. I know they are. They were saying all kinds. Oh, that guy even said, I thought they only used Valium on her to relax her before they went over and talked to her. With that metal taste in her mouth she couldn't get out. We found out they were using hallucinating drugs. So she sleepwalked. Oh, you knew that. You fucking knew that. Don't want to hear it. You knew that. They found a cocktail of drugs in my system in 19. Where Judge Peters' group from Florida said they were using mind-controlling drugs. They could control anybody for 4 to 6 hours. So don't you dare act like you didn't know they drugged me up and told me to say it in a bitch mode. Get the idea? And then the other one's mocking me, where 12/21/18, I got a shower, got a house coat on, went to the refrigerator, I'm stabbed in the side of the neck, bashed in the back of the head. I have the size of a ball peen hammer. It's about that big in the back of my head, pushed in. It should have killed me. I stutter now when I'm upset. And I had migraines for 2 years and I had to be treated. Okay. Last year they found the beginning of a cataract on my eyes. And they said, well, we'll hope they won't grow anymore because they're real small. And, you're so young. Well, they've grown a lot bigger in 1 year. Fast growing cataracts. They asked me if I had 2 eye injuries, severe ones at one time, and I told them no. But I have a head injury, and after I got bashed in the head, my eyesight got really bad really quick. I used to only have to wear glasses to read. And I went home and I went on Google if being bashed in the back of the head would cause fast-growing cataracts, and it's yes. From being bashed in the back of the head and everything shoved forward. It shows up weeks, months, years later. I'll eventually have to have them removed. Even with my glasses on, I was getting really bad headaches because I couldn't see. And when I covered my eye with this eye with my glasses on, trying to read the chart, I couldn't even see the chart. My prescription got a lot stronger, and they'll have to check them again next year. Eventually have to have them removed, and it's caused by being hit in the back of the head so hard. They said it should have killed me, and I'm very fortunate to be alive. Stuttering, I still stutter now because of everything they're showing up. They laughed at me in 19 one day I'd go blind from what they did. I'm not going to go blind. I'll have to have surgery, though. They were mocking me for that now. Because they're sick bastards. They're killers. We came home and there's a Bell store gas station. Some girls were in there saying some attorney's office said she shouldn't be allowed to live so close to a school. She's a child rapist. That is a flat-out lie. A flat-out lie. And then within a couple of minutes, I would turn around and look at some girls on her phone. They said the whole thing is a scam. They're lying to everybody for people to yell stuff at her. Are you that fucking stupid? If you did something that evil and that disgusting, you'd be in jail the rest of your life. Start getting some common sense and stop acting like mindless boobs that cartel can control. Sheriff Grady in Florida talked about the Florida drug cartel run scams on people, so law enforcement won't help them. And when law enforcement finds out they've been scammed, they have to physically rescue the person. Because now they're afraid of law enforcement. As a victim, shame on you. A drug dealer should never be able to scam an officer or an agent. Never. I want you to realize that. Never. All right. Now, when we went to leave, in 18, this guy showed up. He had salt and pepper gray hair and beard. It was like almost down into a point. And he was following me, Maslin Canton. And in 19, I had to rent the place by, I think it's called Deals now. Ford. Okay. I had to have my vehicle fixed. I go in, he's ahead of me. Turns his head sideways and says, Will's got his number. He's waiting to call. And he just turned around and looked. Yesterday, when Carla and I went to pull around the gas station, the end pump, the guy's all slumped down like this, so you can't see him in the passenger side. And I looked, I could see the beard and the hair. I'm like, oh my God, you look like that bad guy that threatened to call the serial killer. Bad guy alert. It's not him, he looks like him. You know, it was a bitch move. This whole thing is a bitch move. A psychotic, evil bitch move. Now, I want you to think about this. On Google, there is no such thing as special permission. The Fourth Amendment requires a court order. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements, a court order, without a conflict of interest. You can't hire some deranged, psychotic, rapist, drug-dealing attorney, my God, to break in and set up bot cameras in somebody's home. There's no such thing as special permission. It's a felony invasion of privacy, cyber stalking, voyeurism, unreal amount of charges. Being in somebody's home, they get disbarred and they lose their license forever. Get the idea? It's right on Google. Get the idea? It's right to privacy over your home. For the right of the people to be safe and secure within your own person. No one can touch you unless you want them to. It's assault. We all know that. We also know what? No searches, no seizures, but upon probable cause warranted, you have to have a court order. With the oath or affirmation of the people, places, or things to be searched or seized. Now, I want you to think of this. You have a right to remain quiet. Why would they have the right to break in and drug you? They don't. Put chemicals in your body? It's against the law. It's a federal crime. Where those idiots, well, we thought they just gave her a little value. You have no right to stab anybody or release anybody's drink. That is a federal crime and 20 years in jail. I never seen her talk to anybody. I want you to think about that. Sexual predators preying on people in their home. How would you like to move into a new home and on the 6th day up there, you're out, you come home and your door's kicked in the wall? Your cheating ex-husband is making up excuses. Maybe a realtor passed out keys. Don't report it. And here he hired some gangsters to set up bot cameras stalking you. Pulling a bitch move. And it is a little bitch move. Setting up bot cameras, taping people in the bathroom. They laughed at me. They sold kiddie porn. My grandkids go on body. They sold me on porn sites. My whole family using the bathroom. Take a video of somebody showering, washing herself. Supposed to put that in the other room. Then I found out they just put my head on somebody else's body. And then by the second week up there, now the well water's orange. You move in. You have to get a water treatment system. Took a couple months to come in. So you bring in bottled water to cook and drink, but you have to wash your hands, have to use the bathroom, have to take a fast shower. By the second week, you got bruises, orange, lemon, grapefruit size, all over you. Personal area is so swollen you can't hardly pee. You think the orange well water is infecting your private area and maybe even giving you cancer. I thought I was dying. You don't remember with those drugs. Come in. Sometimes I'd be fine. I'd be out working in the yard. Come in, wash my hands, make something to eat and drink. Go in and use the bathroom, wash my hands. Better to come out and take a drink out of a 2-liter Diet Coke. I'm going to go Disney Black. Or I would wake up with injection marks. Orange, lemon, grapefruit-sized bruises all over me. Throwing up, heart racing, migraine headache, almost passing out, severe personal infection till you scream when you go to the bathroom. Going to the doctor, is it the well water killing me? Is it toxic? Trying to make sense why you got all these injuries. And they're like, did you fall? No. Maybe you're coming anemic. Give me iron pills, muscle relaxers, stuff for headaches, vomiting, pills and creams for a severe personal infection. Here I'm being human trafficked out of my own home. Drugged up and told to say horrible stuff I found out. I used to vomit. And they laugh at me what they did to me under drugs. And I never seen her talk to anybody. Like Shay Gabe's girlfriend, Karen, it's scary. The thought people were getting in there and harming you like that. When you stop finding rapists funny, running scams on people, now would attorney's office know they would go to jail the rest of their life for doing that? Yeah. I want you to think about that. They would know that. Now, we all know HIPAA violations. Doctors can't talk about you. Right to Privacy Act and HIPAA. It's 10 years. $1 million fine. If they look up your medical records without your signed consent, stealing documents, 10 years. $250,000 fine. If they treat somebody that's not their patient without their signed consent, 10 years. Can even be longer because then it's assault and battery. The only time they make an exception is like an emergency room you're brought in. And you could only look up a little bit of their medical records just for treatment. See what I mean? It's right on Google. Can't hire somebody on their own. Those are federal crimes. Loss of license immediately, and then all those years. Get an idea? That's why I bet the doctors, not real. I bet that attorney's office isn't real. I'll be surprised, because I tell you what, these are not threats. These are promises. I will have the news crews in your face. I will put your picture on every social media that you are a sexual predator, human trafficking people out of their homes, drugging them for fake confessions, photoshopping things in stocking tapes. And then exploiting people for money. Then they run around, they're so dumb. The 14th Amendment in the Constitution. No money, no assets can be seized by due process of the law. We all know that. You have to be found guilty and sued for it. You cannot withhold any protection from any U.S. citizen in any jurisdiction. We all know that. Okay? 7th Amendment. No money or assets can be awarded, but through an unbiased jury trial, set amount per injury, and never by a judge. So their lie, they have a quarter to get everything I have signed by a judge. No, they don't. They don't have anything. Where they laugh that they made everything up on me. They made up everything to get away with this. They did. I bet that attorney's office isn't real. I bet that doctor's not real. And I bet it's just the cartel. Where Dave said he just hired some guy named Pete on his own. It was Pete and his men in a home before. Pete has her framed. I've never met him. The police in Akron told people in June of 23 not to say a word to me. She never met the man that actually did this to her. When you realize there's that evil predators out there harming people in their home, what the hell are you making fun of? A drugged up rape victim? The investigators even told people, trust me, we were never interested in her. They even told them that they knew the tapes before were them and not me, and they never said a word. They always knew. You know, and then they run around trying to blame my kids, like Danny and Jen reported the weird with herself. They won't even have anything to do with this. When I flat out had to ask them, they denied knowing any of it, and they didn't report it. They will not have anything to do with it. Just like, John, when I asked him what was going on, he didn't know. He had told his ex-wife, Melissa, that we were going through a divorce. I was going to be moving out. But don't worry about it, Mom. Oh, she'll have the kids make up some. But don't worry about it, Mom. Nobody can say anything bad about you. And she'll probably have her church people make up something too, but don't worry about it. Nobody could say anything bad about you. Okay? And when Melissa set up John, a year and a half later, so she'd get the kids after their divorce, dropped off the kids. Got everybody settled, went to the bathroom. She snuck in his house. Hid, waited for him to come out of the bathroom, lunge, screaming at him. Out of being shocked, and startled, he shoved her. Laughed, now I got you. Had him arrested, domestic violence. Had to bail out of jail, get an attorney, pay fines, lost his kids for a year. Called me up and said, Mom, I need a reliable name to put on the court record to pick up my kids. Will you pick up Kenzie Carrington and Noah? I said, John, I work 2 jobs. I barely make it now. I don't even get off the first one, let alone the second one. I wouldn't be able to keep my apartment. He said, Mom, if you don't help me, I'll lose my kids. I have to have a reliable name to put on those court records. He said, to have someone pick up those kids and watch them after school. I'll lose them forever. These are my kids. I said, John, I'll lose my apartment. I won't have a place to live. I barely make it now. I'm sorry. I can't help you. Lost his kids. Moved to Florida years ago. Remarried to a beautiful woman. Comes sees them a couple times a year. He has to pay Melissa like $30,000 in child support. Because he makes a lot of money being an electrician. She's an electrical design engineer herself. Makes 95 to 145. She has an income of 145 to 175 a year. She's very wealthy. And she got caught during the FBI case telling her kids to lie. Her kids stating on Thanksgiving of 18 that they made everything up to 4 and they were games of pretend. And they had wanted the house for Auntie Shell and Papa, and Grandma needed to get out. Where Flora told on him October 23rd, 2019. Of course it never happened. Of course it wasn't true. We made it up. They were games of pretend. Where Officer John on January 12th, 22, 4:55 p.m. stopped men at the door. While those kids get tape stating, they made everything up. Where the FBI, because they already sold the login to the case. Thanksgiving of 18, why are they having those kids make all that shit up? Well, they're just gonna try to scare her into giving up the house. That's it. We interviewed her whole family. They spoke highly of her. Where those agents showed up March 23rd, 23, we told these people to stay out of it. We interviewed her whole family a long time ago. She never hurt anyone. Nobody's ever seen anything. It's just some lady thought she could make money off of it. Where July 26, 25, an investigator from the case shows up. The day before, some guy on a motorcycle was outside with his helmet on. There was one around me, and 18 and 19 followed me. And he was out there. He said, you know that tape of Weird With Yourself? I seen that video where Karen went to get the dogs in the house. He said, I forgot how big she was. I did a body ratio. It wasn't even her. The Weird With Yourself. They put her head on somebody else's body. They photoshopped it. And then they were talking about that guy saying he was friends with Ludic, letting him get away with crimes. As if Ludic would let him get away with crimes. And said, well, that guy was there telling everybody that. And the next day, there was men in Bob Evans on 62. And they were running their mouths. So I start saying stuff. Well, a couple comes in and looks at me for the riffraff. Said, oh, John verified it for Will. It's like, oh, hell no, he didn't. So I start rambling about what Melissa did to John, and hell would freeze over. I go over to Walmart 62 when the investigators from the original case come in. I told that couple never to say a word to her again. I interviewed John years ago. He said nothing ever bad happened to him. It's a scam. It's a bitch move. Drugging somebody up and telling them to say something horrible and photoshopping washing. Fake medical records. Fake doctors. Get the idea? It's a scam. Get the idea? It's a sick, satanic scam. Now, do you think he would ask me to pick up his children from school and need a reliable name? If he was part of it? No. Would he have said, what? No one could say anything bad about you, just be made up because of the divorce, you're moving out? Melissa actually got caught telling the kids the lie. And the kids stating they were lying on Thanksgiving of 18, sitting around laughing, making everything up. Like the investigator said, it was sick. That Karen's risking her life to get information on these people trying to save her family's life. She's almost died, and her family's sitting around laughing, making up stuff behind her back. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. That Melissa's so stupid, she made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. They called her stupid for trying this in front of them. And like Officer Mark said, Melissa could go to jail for involving herself in this. I hate to arrest her. Kids are little. You need to arrest her. 7 years later, it's one thing being a bitch, trying to help Dave and his new girlfriend, where you said we ought to write it up that Melissa and the kids were just showing off for Dave's new girlfriend so we don't have to arrest her. That's being a bitch. There's a whole different thing 7 years later. You're still trying to pull your bitch move. Because it's right on Google. If you have your kids pretend something happened to them and they didn't, try to extort money or scare somebody out of something, it's extortion under child abuse. It's a 20-year sentence. Maybe she won't think it's so funny. You know, I was in Bob Evans this last month. There was an apostolic family. The guy is talking. He said, I'm never going back to that church again. Some guy said that he did something to him. He said, I hadn't even seen him in a long time. He said, why would he make that up? And he kept telling people that he had did something. He said, I went to an attorney and said, well, there's no evidence. Nobody went to the hospital. There's no pictures of injuries. No police were called. There's no physical proof. It's just him saying it. He has nothing. He said, I'm never going back to that church. They were trying it with some other guy. See, that's where they were sitting around laughing about everything. Nobody went to the hospital. There's no pictures of injuries. There's no police report. Because they're mean jokes. Like the Stark County Sheriff's called some guy named Kurt Slow for finding out those kids were lying in May of 21. Because they got taped by the police and FBI on Thanksgiving of 18 that they made everything up. They were games of pretend. As other police departments, they're documenting games of pretend. I'm going to upload this. But when you realize they're only scamming you into helping out, that's where I don't believe that attorney's real. And I don't believe that doctor's real. And I think the fake paperwork to make it look official, it's not true about her. The guy wrote it up, didn't like her. I think it's a fake stolen medical records. Get the idea? For everything's a scam. For everything's a lie.